morning, everyone. I heard this quote. It says, telling some people just be yourself is the worst advice you can give them. On the other hand, I once heard a quote that said, be yourself because everyone else is already taken. So tomorrow we're going to have the great merit of taking out 3 Torah scrolls. One for the Torah portion, one for Rosh Chodesh, and one for Parshat HaChodesh, where we read about the first mitzvah the Jewish people received, which was the mitzvah of counting the months by the Rosh Chodesh. And tomorrow we're going to read Parshat HaChodesh on Rosh Chodesh. So we all know that the Jewish calendar follows the lunar cycle, the moon. So what is it about the moon that is so special that it causes us to follow its cycle? And there are many lessons from the moon. But one lesson is that when Hashem created the sun and the moon in Bereshis, it says He made the 2 great lights. But then the next verse says, the big light to shine by day and the small light to shine by night. So the Talmud asks, first it says there are 2 equally great lights, the sun and the moon. And then right after that it says the big light by day and the small light by night. So the Talmud tells an interesting story. That when Hashem made the sun and the moon, they were equally great. But the moon complained to Hashem. And the moon said, 2 kings can't wear 1 crown. Either I'm in charge or he's in charge. We can't have equal greatness. 2 kings can't share 1 crown. He tried to elevate himself above the sun. So Hashem said, you're right, 2 kings can't wear 1 crown. Don't make yourself smaller. And ever since then, the sun became the smaller light. And the message of the moon that we have to remember is that every person has their light. And sometimes when you try to measure yourself against someone else's light, you only make yourself feel inadequate. Because Hashem didn't make you to be like the next person. He made you to be yourself. And your task and job in life and responsibility is to bring forth all of your light. And that's one of the reasons we connect ourselves to the moon, to remember that we should be proud of who we are and give forth and shine our own light. There's a story told about Thomas Edison, who invented many things, but most famously the light bulb. And when he's a little boy of 7 years old, he came home and he told his mother, my teacher gave me a note to give to you. His mother opens the note and starts reading it and starts crying. And little Thomas is standing there and he sees his mother's crying, and I believe she was a single mother. And he says, Ma, what's the matter? He says, well, I'm crying tears of joy. Your teacher wrote me a note that, dear Mrs. Edison, your son is a genius and he's way ahead of the class, and we're a small school. We don't have the teachers to teach a son as bright as yours. I recommend you get a private tutor for him so he could advance at his own level. And that's what she did. The next day she pulled him out of school, got the best teachers and educated him, and he became the famous Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison writes in his diary that after his mother died, he was cleaning up his mother's apartment. He opened one of the drawers and he finds a folded note. He looks at it, it's the note from his teacher. And the note says, Dear Mrs. Edison, I'm sorry to tell you this, but your son has severe learning disabilities and he can't keep up with the class. And we're a small school, we don't have a special ed program. I recommend you get him tutors that could teach him at his own pace. And he burst out crying because he realized what his mother had done. And that's the idea, to believe in your own potential, just like a mother believes in a child's potential. Despite what anyone else says, Hashem believes in our potential. There was a man who came here to shul last week with a talis bag, and it was a birthday present from his children. And on it there was a Hebrew quote, it was a translation of a famous English quote from the Lubavitcher Rabbi. And the quote said, the day you were born was the day Hashem decided the world cannot go on without you. And that's the idea of the moon. Look at your own light and bring it forth.